I would like to turn it over to Tom Millington, who and he was going to talk about the wonderful work that his team and other scholars have presented in this wonderful book release. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Timmons. I appreciate that introduction. Before I go on, I want to thank Krishna, Roy, and Bo for all the support and really making this thing happen. I think they do all the work unheralded behind the scenes, and they make this job look easy. So thank you very much. We tackled the question, we often have thought about what exactly is international education? You know, what does it mean? What does it represent? And more importantly, where is it going? And so we thought we would ask some experts. And so we've asked some leading thought leaders in the field to contribute their thoughts, share their experience, and tell us really where exactly international education is headed. They have a combined 330 years of experience in international experience, so they really don't become more well-informed than that. So we're really pleased with the wealth of knowledge that they bring to the table, and certainly their insight. So if you look at the book, it spans quite a few areas. Gary Rhodes, for example, will give a nice history of the field and then make a connection to Olympism. You know, I won't list everything. And then Bill Smithy talks about how over his nearly 50-year career, he has seen the field expand and grow in many different ways. And then even we have Lance Kenny talking a little bit about quantum theory. So I think there's some really interesting tidbits here for you. And we don't want this to be a typical, well, what is study abroad? We want to take a look at it under a different light, from different perspectives, and just keep the momentum thinking about what exactly this field is and where it will go. Thank you. So for the introduction, I wrote the introduction for this book, and rather than just repeat what I wrote verbatim, I thought I'd put these two quotes up here for you to see, which I like, because they do touch upon an aspect of international education, especially the one by Ann Carson, because in many ways we have mythologized international education. In a way, it's like a sacred cow that no one really likes to criticize or engage in constructive criticism or debate. So I really like that. What I'm going to do, as I said, instead of reading my introduction entirely, I'm just going to pose 3 questions and some sub-questions, and I want you to bear them in mind as our authors speak, because they are the true superstars here. It's not me. I'm just trying to shine the light on them. So the question I have is, what is international education? Is it an achievable myth, or is it a far-flung reality? What exactly is it? You know, do they have some beliefs that are more sacred than others? And by that, I'm meaning STEM versus humanities, which is a debate that's going on in the field. Does it have a historiography? Or is it a political movement? Or, as the environmentalist Rachel Carson once observed, is it a cause without an end? We don't really know. We're so tied up in doing it and practicing it. We don't really see how far ahead in the future, what form it will take and what it will do. My next question is what is the philosophy of international education? You know, what motivates it? What guides it? You know, is it immutable, or does it change with the times? That, for me, is a key question. Does it change with the times, or are there certain aspects of it, characteristics that do not change? That's something I'd like to see. And one thing I have thought about is, does its outcomes are the outcomes of international education subverted by its aspirations? In other words, are we aiming too high? You know, so these again are just some things to consider. And I'll end with what are the core values of international education? A Scottish philosopher by the name of William McCaskill wrote about value lock-ins, and he defines them as systems of values that persist for an extremely long time. So my question, I guess, would be to the authors here and to you, the audience: what are those values of international education that are going to hopefully persist for a long time, certainly well beyond our lifespans? For me, I think one of the things I like about international education is the activist role that it can take, and we're seeing some of this now with the anti-racism movement. There's two examples that I like. 1963, we had 59 Columbia University undergraduate students defy the Kennedy administration's travel ban on Cuba by traveling to that country from Prague. I think that's brilliant. And then more recently, in 2006, Dr. James Skelly from Brethren Colleges Abroad challenged and actually rattled former Secretary of State Colin Powell at the 2006 NAFTA conference, the annual conference in Minneapolis. And I think that is brilliant. That is what international education for me is. It's not about just educating, but advocating and supporting, challenging. I think those for me are important values of what international education is all about. So I'll end here. The contributors to this book will be adding a new light, shining a new light on international education, and they want to compel you, they want to prompt you to reconsider what international